I was watching one of Matt Broomfield's videos earlier where he's talking about just cranky old people that seem to have nothing better to do with their time than to call the cops on skateboarders or young people in general because they feel like if they can't have any fun, nobody can have any fun. And there's definitely spots in my city where I can skate, but I know if I go, down the sidewalk a little bit, somebody's going to call the cops, and it's always the same person, that person that they'll be out in their garden and they hear wheels on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got to go call the cops, and I'm going to sit in my little swing, and I'm going to watch them get harassed by the cops. There's just some people like that out there, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing, really, that you can do to change these people's perceptions of skateboarding, because they've always been ingrained with this just bombarded with the idea that all skateboarders are bad, regardless of who they are, regardless of the person that they are, aside from their hobbies. None of us are just skateboarders. We are human beings, and as human beings, we have multiple interests. Clearly, one of your interests is to watch YouTube videos, okay? A lot of you guys play video games. A lot of you guys work on cars. A lot of you guys are into guns. A lot of you guys eat a lot of candy bars. Everybody has something outside of skateboarding, for the most part. I mean, there are people who dedicate their entire lives to skateboarding, but that's just... It's generally a phase. I went through that myself, where I would go to school, get home at like 3 o'clock. School gets out at 2:55, and I live right up the road from the school. So you get home, you start skating in the neighborhood, and you just skate until it gets too dark to see your board at your feet. You can't see your shoes, okay? Sometimes you can't see your hand in front of your face. It's so damn dark, okay? And you just skate until you are physically exhausted, and all you want to do is crawl into bed and fall asleep. But eventually life happens, and you develop other interests. Maybe you do like I did. You break your leg, okay? I broke my leg, and I started playing video games. I did. I played a lot of video games, and I spent a lot of time on YouTube. And that's actually when I started making videos. It wasn't when I broke my leg. It was a year later when I broke my arm. But I made my YouTube account when I broke my leg and started... Actually, I think we started uploading a couple of skate videos back then, right after I broke my leg. And then once I broke my arm, I started making the vlogs because I had all this spare time. It was actually this time of the year, I think, too. I think I had spring break. I probably made like 10 videos in a week or some dumb shit like that. They're probably all gone by now because, I had some ideas that I don't necessarily agree with today. But there are people that just don't like it. And your best bet dealing with these people is to just be respectful, as hard as it is. And it is difficult to be reasonable with these people because they are complete assholes in most cases, and they'll get in your face and they'll try to get physical. But here's the thing. As a skateboarder, if somebody gets physical with you and you retaliate, it doesn't matter what happened. You're taking the fall for it because you are a skateboarder and you have this negative stereotype placed upon your head. Whether or not it applies to you or not, it automatically applies to you. You could be, like my brother, a straight A student, honors classes, AP classes. On the weekends, he's just another hood rat skater. That's the way it is. Nobody cares that he's at the top of his class because he's a skateboarder. And it's interesting that I was the very bottom of my class, and my brother's the very top of his class. I attribute a lot of it to just not wanting to be like me. Which, based on what I show you guys, you don't understand what kind of hell I put that kid through, but I can understand why he wouldn't have wanted to be like me. I was a horrible, horrible human being as a child. And I can fully understand why he would have wanted to strive to be better than me. And I'm not necessarily going to say that he's successfully done so, because he hasn't necessarily, but he has definitely done it in his own way. He has proven himself in school, but that's completely unrelated, except for the fact that it applies to the fact that some skateboarders aren't pieces of crap, like people seem to think we all are. Some of us are, and I hate you, those of you that are. The kids that want to walk down these alleyways and just throw a brick through a window for no good reason. I hate you. You're a piece of shit. You're setting the rest of us back. And while I don't want us to have this like super goody-goody image where everybody just, wants to run up and give us a hug in the street, I don't feel like we're ever going to be heroes. But just not being a villain would be enough. If we could just be ghosts, just fly under the radar, that would be perfect. That would be ideal for me. Because I don't mind being the bad guy. But it gets old sometimes. It's not fun having people think that you're automatically a horrible person just because you want to get out and have a little bit of fun on the weekends. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. All of my peers do. But if I was walking down the street next to my most drug-addicted friend and I had my skateboard, I'm going to be the one that's looked at negatively, not them, because they don't know what that person does. They know that I have a skateboard, and that automatically makes me a horrible person. So keep that in mind. Some people just aren't going to like you because of the way the way they perceive skateboarders. And all you can do is, you're never going to change their mind, but you can at least try to change their mind. That's your best bet. Because all you can really accomplish is pissing them off more and making them hate you more by talking shit and running your mouth. And I understand it's fun. It is fun. It's a great deal of fun. As a matter of fact, I have done my fair share of it, and I did a little bit of it just yesterday, actually. I was skating at the school. It's spring break here. I'm sure it's spring break there, too, and that's actually why I'm trying to pump out this video for you guys. Fill up 10 minutes of your time or so. But we're skating this little ledge. We had waxed it up, and dude pulls up on a scooter, and everybody just kind of, walks away from what they're doing so they don't look too suspicious. And one of the kids left the wax sitting there. The guy's like, I was hired by the school to patrol the school this week so that nobody comes and messes anything up and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't get out of here, I'm going to call the cops. And this whole time he's smoking a cigarette. I'm like, you're aware that sign says that this is a tobacco-free campus, right? And you can't have that here. You wouldn't want me to call the cops on you, would you? He's like, oh, well, I'll get out of here as soon as you do. Besides, that's just a sign. I'm like, what is that sign that says that I can't skateboard here? What is that sign? It's just a sign. Signs. Everywhere there's signs. I'm not going to sing the rest of the song because if you don't know it, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And if you do know it, that's all I needed to sing for you to completely just shit your pants entirely. If you don't know the song, look it up. It's Signs by Tesla. Excellent song. But anyways, was I right to talk shit to the guy? Probably not. He was just doing his job. He thought he was a hero. Whether or not he was actually a hero is irrelevant completely. My heroes don't ride little yellow scooters, but, had he had a cape on, he may have looked more heroic. Anyways, I mentioned that they forgot the wax there, right? This is actually the spot that Matt Broomfield was talking about in his video that mentioned me, the most recent one that I know of, where he's talking about cranky old people, and that's the video that sparked this video. But anyways, so we went around, and we went to this other spot that's nearby, and it's just a foundation spot. And one of the kids goes, I forgot the wax. So he goes back to get the wax, jumps the fence, gets over there, and right as he's about to grab the wax, he sees the guy on the scooter. Takes off running back over the fence, back over to the spot, and before the dude can get to the top of the hill to see if it was him, he's already back to skating. So he takes off, and the guy's going to do it again. Same thing. Forgot the wax. Third time, they go back, get the wax, back over the fence, and they made it. And clearly at some point during this, the guy called the cops. Because 2 hours later, the cops showed up, and they went to the wrong school, because there's a middle school, which actually has a couple of decent skate spots, and then there's a high school right next to it, across the road, that has absolutely nothing. And the cops went up there and started jiggling the doors and checking windows and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, this guy definitely told the cops that we were breaking into this building and we should probably just get the hell out of here. It was getting dark anyways. It wasn't after dark yet. The sun was going down. So we got the hell out of there. Went home, and if the police department is watching this, we didn't break into the school. We were just skating the ledge. And, so what we do. I have no interest in breaking into your school where you have cameras and stealing your computers. That's just not me. I have a job. I can make money on my own. I don't actually need to steal things from other people to make money. And I understand you're just doing your jobs, but you're barking up the wrong tree, Broseph.